Once upon a time, there was this old couple from the very south of Portugal, which lived for such a long time together that whenever the man came from working on the countryside, he said hello to his wife, and his wife just said, "Oh, can't listen to you any longer." And so it was their life. But one day the man just came from working to the countryside and said to the woman, "Hello," and she said, "Oh, listen, I have something to tell you." And she looked at him and said, You have something to tell me? You haven't told me anything important for the last 50 years. How are you going to tell it now? The man said, "No, listen, I'm very, very, very tired of working. I have pain on my hand, I have pain on my arm, I have pain on my back. I can't stand it any longer." And the woman said, "Well, what you going to do then about the fields?" The man said, "Well, no, I'm going to hire someone." "You going to hire? You don't want to pay anyone." And the man said, "Well, I don't know." And they started discussing. And they came to such a high level of discussion that the man, out of rage, said, "Well, even if the devil comes, I'll hire the devil." And on that precise moment, someone knocked at the door. The old man went to open the door, and right in front of it there was a young boy holding the wall. And the old man asked, "What do you want?" And he said, "Well, I came for the work." "You came for the work? Well, you don't really look like someone who wants to work." "Well," the young man said, "I know everything, and I know you're looking for someone, and I'm the right person for your work." And the old man looked at him and said, "Well, I can hire you, but I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to make a small test to see how you manage with the things. So, would you be so kind to accompany me to the fields?" And so they went. And in front of a beautiful field of roses, the old man looked at this young boy and said, "Oh, can you see all the roses there? You're going to pick them up one by one. And I'm not going to give you any tool. You have to take them with your bare hands. And I'm going to give you 2 hours to do that." And so the old man left the young boy with the work. After 1.5 hours, the old man decided to go and see how was the work going. And he found this young man sleeping under a tree. So he woke me up and said, "So, what happened? Haven't you started or what?" And the young man looked at him and said, "No, I've done all the work. Please come with me." And so they went, and he showed that he had not only picked the roses from one side, but he also picked the roses from the other side. "That's almost impressive," said the old man, "but I'm an old person, I've seen loads of things. So, can you please accompany me?" And they went to the warehouse, and the old man said, "Can you see all the tiles over there? You're going to take them out one by one by one, and you're going to put them back again one by one by one, and I give you 2 hours to do that." And the old man went away back to his place. But after 1 hour, the young man has done everything. And the old man, completely scared, he did what all the men do whenever they're scared. He went to ask help for his wife. And his wife, looking at him, said, "There's no problem. You let him do all the works he has to do, and then send him to me. I have a work for him." And so it was. After a whole week, the young man has done all the works the old man had to do in 1 year. And when he asked for the old man for new work, he said, "Oh, you go and meet my wife, she has a work for you." And the young man just came and knocked at the door, and the old woman opened the door, and he saw this young guy holding the wall saying, "Oh, your husband told me you have a work for me." And the old woman said, "Oh, yes, I do have." And putting her hand in the pocket, she grabbed a small stick, and giving the stick to the young man said, "This is a brush. But I have a terrible problem because there's no hairs on the brush. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to give you the hairs one by one. there one by one. Well, that doesn't sound too hard, said the young man. I'll just pick up roses and the tiles and everything. It doesn't seem too hard. So can you please be kind enough to give me one of the hairs I have to put on the stick? And the old woman put her hand inside the skirt and she gave him one hair. But she warned him, this hair, it cannot just be put like that because it's rather curly. You have to put it straight first, and then you can put it on the stick. And she closed the door. And you have the devil with this hair on his hand, and he started thinking, how can he put it straight? Maybe some devil's breath. And so the hair was straight for 7 seconds, and then just curl it back again. He decided to put 2 stones on each side of the hair and started, and the hair was straight for 5 seconds, and then just curl it back again. And so the devil started stressing. He tried all the things he could imagine to put the hair straight, but the hair always got back to the curly form. Very, very, very pissed. The devil just went and knocked at the door, but this time he was not holding the wall. He was rather angry with the hair on his hand, and when the old woman opened the door, he looked at her and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have many more like this?" And the old woman, in a very simple and nice way, she grabbed the skirt. She rose the skirt, and the devil ran away. And this is the reason why still today the devil doesn't want to do anything with work, and much less with women.